A training program in rural Missouri is taking people who have never written a line of code and turning them into product builders in 10 weeks. Not toy apps. Not homework projects. Working products built primarily with AI tools, shipped by people who couldn't tell you the difference between Python and JavaScript when they started. Meanwhile, a widely circulated essay on Latent Space is making the case that traditional code reviews, the process that's been the backbone of software quality for decades, will be dead by the end of this year. These two stories point in the same direction, and you should be paying close attention. Codefi is a tech training organization based in Cape Girardeau, Missouri. Since 2014, they've trained over 600 adults in full-stack web development through a program called Code Labs, and they've introduced more than 4,000 young people to programming. They've been doing workforce development in rural communities for over a decade, and they're well known in that space. This January, they launched something fundamentally different. It's called Prompt to Product, and it's a 10-week AI native training program. The key detail: participants don't need to know how to code at all. The entire curriculum is built around using AI as the primary development tool. By week 10, each participant ships a working product. Codefi is very clear about who this is for. Founders who want to prototype without hiring a dev team. Business professionals who have domain expertise but no technical background. And yes, developers too. Ones who want to learn how to build faster using AI native workflows. The program is offered at no cost for qualified applicants. The structure matters. This isn't a weekend hackathon or a vibes-only prompt jam. It's 10 weeks of guided, expert-led training. Participants learn to scope problems, think like product engineers, architect solutions, and use AI tools to build and ship. The philosophy is straightforward. What used to take 6 months and $50,000 to prototype can now be tested in days. Codefi's leadership says the market has shifted. Employers want people who can define a problem, build a solution fast, and show outcomes, usually with AI somewhere in the stack. So instead of teaching people to write code from scratch, Prompt to Product teaches them to build products with the tools that actually exist today. For the past year, the tech world has been debating whether so-called vibe coding, building software through AI prompts rather than manual programming, is a real shift or just a novelty. Prompt to Product answers that question with a structured, repeatable program. This is the first formalized bootcamp model built entirely around the idea that AI is the development platform, not a helper bolted onto traditional coding. The implications run deep. Software development has been a gated profession for decades. You needed to learn to code or you needed to hire someone who could. That gate is opening. When a 10-week program can take someone from zero technical background to shipping a functional product, the definition of who can build software has expanded permanently. This also signals where the job market is heading. Codefi didn't design this program in a vacuum. They built it because employers told them what they actually need. Companies want builders who can move fast, use AI effectively, and deliver outcomes. The traditional 12 to 16-week coding bootcamp that teaches React and Node from scratch is starting to look like it's training people for a workflow that's already outdated. And the fact that this is happening in rural Missouri, not San Francisco, matters. It means the shift isn't confined to the tech bubble. It's reaching communities that have historically been on the outside of the software economy. Watch for the outcomes from this January 2026 cohort. If Codefi's graduates actually ship products that get users or generate revenue, expect every major bootcamp to launch an AI native track within 6 months. Also watch for employers' responses. If hiring managers start treating Prompt to Product graduates the same way they treated traditional bootcamp grads 5 years ago, the pipeline for technical talent is about to look very different. So non-coders are now building and shipping real products with AI in 10 weeks. That raises an obvious question about the other side of the equation. If AI is generating code at this speed and volume, what happens to the processes designed to check that code? Specifically, what happens to code review, the practice that every professional software team has relied on for quality control for the last 20 years? Latent Space is one of the most widely read publications in the AI engineering community, run by Sean Wang, known online as Swex. This week they published a guest essay by Ankit Jain titled How to Kill the Code Review. The central argument is blunt: human-written code died in 2025, and code reviews will die in 2026. Jain's case rests on a scaling problem. Two things are growing exponentially in AI-assisted development: the number of code changes and the size of those changes. Developers already report that reviewing AI-generated code takes more effort than reviewing code written by colleagues. Teams are producing more code than ever, then spending more time reviewing it. Jane argues this is a fight that manual review simply cannot win. The essay proposes a paradigm shift toward what Jane calls spec-driven development. Instead of humans reviewing 500-line diffs after code is written, humans should review specs, plans, constraints, and acceptance criteria before the first line of code is generated. In this model, the spec becomes the source of truth. Code becomes an artifact, something produced by AI to fulfill the spec. Human judgment moves from "did you write this correctly?" to "are we solving the right problem with the right constraints?" Jane's proposed replacement mantra is "ship fast, observe everything, revert fasters," as opposed to the current reality of review slowly, miss bugs anyway, debug in production. It's worth noting that Latent Space's editor added a disclaimer. They published the essay as a provocative position worth considering, not necessarily one they fully endorse. And the counterpoints are real. A recent CodeRabbit report found that AI-generated code produces roughly 1.7 times more issues than human-written code across logic, maintainability, security, and performance. So the quality gap is measurable. The reason this essay is getting so much traction is that it names a problem everyone in professional software development is already feeling. Code review was designed for a world where humans wrote code at human speed. That assumption broke in 2025. Consider the Cloudflare example that's been circulating. One engineer rewrote 94% of the Next.js adapter for Cloudflare workers in a single week. That's a major production framework, largely rewritten by one person using AI tools. Who reviews that? How many engineers would you need to meaningfully review a week's worth of output that would have previously taken a team months? Jane acknowledges the limitations. AI models deviate from instructions frequently and are unreliable at self-verification. But his argument is that code review as currently practiced isn't actually catching those problems either. The process creates an illusion of quality control while shipping bugs to production anyway. The deeper implication is organizational. If spec review replaces code review, the most valuable skill in software teams shifts from reading and critiquing code to defining problems precisely and writing rigorous acceptance criteria. That's a fundamentally different competency. And it maps cleanly onto what Codefi is teaching in Prompt to Product, scoping problems and defining what success looks like, rather than writing the code yourself. Watch for how major engineering organizations respond. If companies like Google, Meta, or Stripe start publicly experimenting with spec-driven review processes, or automated code validation pipelines that replace traditional PR review, Jane's timeline starts looking credible. Also keep an eye on the AI code review tool market. Companies like CodeRabbit and Codeai are building products that sit between full manual review and no review at all. Whether the industry kills code review or just automates it will be one of the defining engineering culture debates of 2026. The question worth sitting with is this: if the people building software and the processes governing that software are both changing at the same time, what does a software team actually look like 12 months from now? That's worth thinking about regardless of whether you write code, manage engineers, or just use the products they build. If you want to keep tracking how AI is reshaping the way software gets made, subscribe. We cover this every day. See you in the next one.